All right, welcome to our new investors webinar. So glad that you could join us today. We are going to get started, and if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A box or the chat box. But keen to kick this off. So joining us today is your Wealth Migrate team. My name is Gabriela Farias. I am the head of global revenue for Wealth Migrate. With us as well are our wealth consultants, Alex Westhazen and Fritz Greuss, and our wonderful customer relations and KYC specialist team, Siska Damaskinos and Ruth Coates.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening and welcome to all our online viewers. Nice to be here. So today we're going to kick off by basically starting with the basics. So how to get started. So firstly, setting up your portfolio is probably one of the most important parts of investing, is making sure you understand what type of investments do you actually want to invest in, what type of risks you want to take, as well as how to diversify within asset classes and different countries. So today we're going to have a look at how our platform actually answers that question. With using our marketplace, actually, it has enabled our investors to be able to have a plug and play portfolio into the primary market. So basically what that means is you get access to investment and institutional grade opportunities from as little as $1,000. Actually, on some occasions, like this upcoming Tuesday, we are going to be dropping it to $97. So this basically is what the problem is. And we're going to take a look now at what actually our platform has enabled our clients to do. So the next slide. Okay. So what our platform has enabled our clients to do is very easily be able to invest into global real estate, fund as well as diversify into different asset classes. So that is basically where we are at the moment and what our platform means. And that is the value there. Now, taking it to the next step here is one of our biggest mottos, and what we're all very passionate about is to actually enable the globe to invest into these type of markets using our platform itself. So next up is our client success team, Siska and Ruth, is going to be taking us through how to get signed up onto our platform, getting verified, as well as funding the wallet. So it's 4 easy steps, and I'll kick over to Ruth, I believe.
Thank you, Alex. So signing up is really simple. As you see, we've laid it out in 4 simple steps: sign up, complete your profile, get verified, and invest. So as you see on your screen, this is what our website shows. Simply clicking on the blue buttons, either the sign up or get started button will kick off the process. Then you'll enter your selected email address and obviously select a secure, safe password, and then sign up. You'll obviously need to click the buttons and make sure that you agree to the terms that are selected there. Then it moves you over to the next step, which is selecting your country of residence. The default is Afghanistan, so please pay attention and make sure that you select where you are from. And then below is the self-attestation, excuse me. This is a self-check process. Simply by clicking on the button and then reading the steps below, not necessarily visible on this screen, is further details related to each selection. So if you click on Everyday Investor, it'll give you more details below. And you need to then select the I accept on that. So you accept to the terms of the Everyday Investor, or you accept the terms and the explanation of the high net worth and such. That will then kick you off. If you don't select that, the accept button, you might get a red banner. So if you see that, don't stress, just make sure that that accept button has been selected, and then you can move on to the next step. Then another very important key process to the creating of a profile is the verifying of your email address. So once you have created a login, our system will send you an automated verify your email which sometimes can be missed if it goes into your spam folder. So please do keep a lookout for that. If you haven't received that in 24 hours of creating your login, please do reach out to us. But in all other cases, it should have landed in the inbox that was used to create your account. And then from that process, you're going to go through to the KYC, the filling in your details, the uploading of your documents. And that bit I'm going to hand over to Siska. She will go through the details of that. So over to you,
Thanks,
Siska.
Ruth. Hi, everybody. It's really an honor and a pleasure to meet you all. KYC documents, it's obviously something that you might have dealt with in the past, and you might have even completed your profile. So just for the members that have not done so, the process is very simple. You've got 4 steps to complete. It's basically completing your basic information, your physical address, your bank details, and then on step 5, and which is this page that you're viewing now, is the upload of your KYC documents. Now, we need 4 documents, preferably a copy in color of your passport, your ID card, if you have one, if it's relevant in your country, the front and the back. Or if you don't have an ID card, then your valid driver's license card, which is also then the front and the back. We would like that to be in color, but if you don't have a color copy, then we will accept grayscale. The other documents that we need is a proof of your address. Now, the actual platform guides you with examples, so please just read on the right-hand side what will be acceptable. It also shows you examples. Like you can see there, it gives you that we need, as an example, the passport book. We need both pages to be visible and not just the bottom of the book. And then finally, we need a copy of your bank statement. The reason for that is that we need to do the cross-reference checking, make sure that the bank account is in actual fact in your name, if that's the entity that's going to be investing. But if you're going to be investing through your corporate structure, that it is in the name of your corporate structure. And then please just remember to click on save and submit. As you can see that button on the right-hand side at the top there. Remember to click save and submit, because if you don't do that, it actually doesn't push through to our operations portal, and we're not actually aware of your profile that we need to verify. And then I think a very important point to bring across is that we don't actually do that. We make use of Lemonway, our wallet service provider. They do the verification checks after we've just done the beginning cross-reference checking, make sure that everything is right before we submit it to them. And when they get it via the API, it takes 48 hours with them. So it depends on you, how good you've completed your profile and how accurate you've read. But really, it's not a complex process. It's very simple. And myself and my team are here to support you. So please do reach out if you are experiencing any difficulties. And I think, Fritz, you're going to take us through the funding of your wallet.
Yes, thank you so much, Siska. So this brings us basically to step 3 in our process in order to get practically involved on the platform. Step 1 being, of course, sign up. Step 2, completing your documents and your KYC verification, as Siska and Ruth were so kind to help us with now. And then we get to the part where step 3, you actually fund your wallet. So firstly, on the Wealth Migrate platform, we've partnered with Lemonway in France as a independent money holding institution with a correct licensing. In order to be fully regulated under EU regulation. They are in control and administer the funds. We simply integrated their technology into our platform. So that's why when you went through step 1, you actually signed the T's and C's of Lemonway as payment provider or money holding provider in this case. So so that said, getting into the practicalities of investing, as you'll see on the screen there, it's as easy as, once you have been verified, to go to your wallet's icon on the pane on the left-hand side of the screen. And then basically you will see that within your wallet on the right-hand side, there's a deposit now and a deposit funds and a withdraw funds button. And basically you initiate both of those procedures by actually clicking on that button and doing that. You will see, as is illustrated on screen, that this brings up a unique reference number that is linked to your account with Lemonway. BNP Paribas is the bank. You will also see the information there. That is the bank where the funds are held. So basically, this is in France, BNP Paribas. You know, they're also one of the largest institutions of their kind in the world, very successful. And basically, that's why you see BNP Paribas information when you deposit the funds, along with your unique reference number that you will get once you're verified. Very important to use that specific reference number when you indeed do your transfer. The nature of this transfer is that of a international, it's an international transfer. So basically you can use, you know, a preferred financial services provider, you know, of your choice. You can use your own bank. I use an app on my phone from Standard Bank to do the transfer. There are many ways of doing it. If you need any help with this kind of transfer, we have partnered with currency partners, you know, that deliver a very high caliber of service on that to help you set up an account with them, and then also, you know, do these international transfers. They can also help to actually increase your yearly allowance if you wanted to send out more than $1 million a year, for instance, out of South Africa. They've got a lot of value adds such as that. But in any case, the last thing I must say about this process, which is very relevant, is the fact that at the moment we only host a USD-based wallet with Lemonway. So that means that the funds need to be, or they only USD will be accepted into this wallet. So if you're trying to transfer a different, you know, currency, then you will incur conversion fees, you know, and sometimes there might even be allocation issues at Lemonway with different currencies. So it's just safer. Send it in USD format, and then everything runs smoothly. So,
Fritz,
yes.
Sorry, if I could just add there, from experience, we really just want to advise everybody to seriously try and remember to wire USD currency. We've really had a couple of investors that waited nearly. Sure, the one client waited over a month to get her euros tracked because obviously because it's a USD wallet, it was held and stopped by BNP Paribas. And so it was a complete process to try and trace those funds because it first went through an intermediary bank before it went to BNP Paribas. So to prevent that hassle, you know, I think it is really good for us just to ask you to please be conscious and rather wire USD currency. Thanks, Fred.
For sure. Thanks for that, Siska. And something I just remembered that's also very important is the fact that the account that is registered on the platform, once you go through step 2, getting verified, is the account that you are then electing to fund your wallet through. So that is the account that you should use to fund your wallet, just when you consider which bank accounts you are indeed verifying. So this takes us basically to the, you know, to delve in deeper into the process. Once you have funded your wallet, you know, then you're at step 4, and that is browsing marketplace deals. And basically what you can do is you can use the resources available to you on the platform, you know, in terms of the source of truth for all of the information in terms of who the issuer of the deal is, who, as we call it, the sponsor, what the opportunity is, the investment summary, the strategies, the risk profile, relevant documents that you can download. You know, you can use. We've got a nifty calculator these days that's actually such a nice resource to see the effect that the fees have. And you know, so the transparency really comes in here, and which is one of the core principles of the business. That really brings us to fees that match our mission. You know, if you look at the fees on the platform, you have initialization fees of around 3% on real estate deals, and on structured notes we have a 0.5% initialization fee. You know, so there's always that transparency. There's that alignment in the fact that we only receive, you know, actual revenues when our investors receive revenues in terms of returns. So that is how our fees work in terms of the returns. We take a 10% profit sharing fee, but that really is very well laid out in the calculators to each deal. And very transparent. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
So Gabby's gonna take us through the thick of it now.
Great, thank you so much, Fritz. Common question that we get from new members is, how does this work, and how do I fit into it? So to start from the top, we as a Wealth Migrate source commercial investment opportunities for you, the individual investor. We try to find partners with, a range of sponsors, financial advisors, and partners. They are carefully selected to be best-in-class companies with established track records and expertise. And all of the investments that we present to you on our marketplace are reviewed and selected very carefully. So they go through quite a heavy due diligence process before they are actually put in front of you for open investment. Now, once an investment or deal, as we call them, has been approved by our investment committee, it's then put onto our marketplace as an open deal for you to be able to invest in. You can browse those current deals in our marketplace, as Fritz just explained. All of the information and documentation relating to that deal is actually in the deal card in the marketplace. And we invite all of our members to join an online deal webinar or online briefing about the deal on the day that the deal launches, with a Q&A session with the sponsor themselves. So you as an individual investor actually have the opportunity to ask one-on-one Q&A questions to the sponsors who are ultimately delivering you the deal. Once we have received funds, crowd-funded funds from our investor community, we essentially aggregate all of those and put them into what we call a special purpose vehicle, or an SPV. The SPV is a legal company or structure that's set up specifically for that deal that you've invested in. And all of the investors that have invested into that deal then become shareholders based on their differing investment amounts. So for an example, if you invested $100,000 into one of our deals and we raised $200,000 total on that deal, you would be a 50% shareholder in that special purpose vehicle that we create in order to invest in the deal. When a deal closes on the platform, or when the deal has been fully funded, this is when we do actually close the deal and build what we call the book, or build the SPV for you. Once the deal has been fully funded and we have sent those funds to the sponsor then runs the deal for the full term, implementing their business plan as they presented during the offering, The sponsor provides quarterly reports on the performance of the property or the investment opportunity, and where relevant, they will make quarterly distributions back into that special purpose vehicle. These distributions will then be paid to our investors, to you, the individual investor, directly into your online Lemonway wallet, which you can access through our portal. During this during the offering stage of the deal, the sponsor would have indicated both a provisional timeline and an exit strategy for the deal. That exit strategy may vary for each project, but it typically involves the sale of the asset, the building, or the refinancing of the asset. The timeline provides you with an estimate of how long that investment will be active. We try to say that up front. Typically, our investments can be anywhere between 4 years to 3 years to 7 years in length, but it does vary based on market conditions. And if we have a sponsor who believes that it's a good opportunity to exit a deal early, and it will benefit all investors, then they may make that decision. Similarly, if the relevant real estate market is at the bottom of a cycle at the projected exit period, the sponsor may make the decision to hold on to that asset for longer, just to ensure that the sale of the asset is higher at a better later time. Once a deal is fully exited, the capital is then returned to all investors and again paid directly into your online wallet.
Thank you very much for that, Gabby. I think we're adding quite a bit of value so far. So next up is just to actually understand what our sponsor means and the different levels of sponsors that we have within our ecosystem. So it's very important to note that a sponsor is our internal lingo for the operators that is bringing these opportunities to us. So these are the managing agents that's on the ground that actually are purchasing the asset and managing it on behalf of us. We are then, through what, as Gabby mentioned, our SPVs, investing directly with them into that projects. So as you can see on the screen, we have different levels of sponsors. So tenured, established, developed, and emerging. And as you can see, from emerging, working out all the way up to from 20 years all the way up to 50 years. So what we pride ourselves in actually listing really, really established operators for us to expose them to our clients. So as you can see there on the far right hand side, that is how much assets under management they have. And basically what that means is that is the amount of value in the properties that they have. So these are not just two guys in a garage trying to develop a new property. It's actually very established partners that we partner with. Gabby, if we can go to the next slide. So this slide is all about what risks, what does it mean, what are the risks linked to the assets, to the different opportunities that we list on our platform. So as you can see, from the left to the right, we'll go from core plus, value add, and opportunistic. As we go from risk level being very low to risk level being very high, your returns are also linked to that. So the lower the risk, the lower the returns, and the higher the risk, the higher the returns, as that graph illustrates there. The way that I always like to explain what these different levels mean is to use an example of a building in let's say New York. So a building in New York, mid CBD, would be a core. There's a lot of supply and a lot of demand. So meaning there's not a lot of value that you can actually add to this asset. So it's probably between 95% and 100% occupied. So it's a blue chip tenants that's basically in that asset. So the returns is very similar to what the risk is. The value there would be if they manage the asset a little bit better, they do a little bit more advertising, they get new tenants in there, but it's a very low risk. The next is a core. So let's say it's not in CBD, but just outside the metropolitan area. It's a little bit of an aging building. There's value to actually maybe add some new lick of paint and basically get new clients in there or new tenants in that building. So with that, the more value you add to the asset, the higher the returns. So that brings us to the next level, is value add. That's exactly self-explanatory, but basically what that is a building that's a little bit worn down. There's a change in the market that's around this asset. So it might be that Amazon has decided to develop a new headquarters down the road, or Facebook has decided that it's a good time to invest into this area, and there's new demand that is pulled towards that asset itself. So that's where the value comes in, and that's where that's increasing your return, but also the risk that's linked to that, because they might Amazon's tenants might, or employees rather, might go to a different building, etc., etc. And then we'll go to the very last category that we have here on our scale, is an opportunistic. So in the sense, it's a new development, or it's a completely rebrand of an existing asset. So it might be a building where it's completely worn down. They would like to rezone it, add extreme amount of value to it, and then reposition or remarket it to a different type of demand. So it might be residential and they move it to commercial, or other way around. So that brings us to the last category. Now, that is the fundamentals of these different risk categories. Now, as our platform is not only real estate, but we also do alternative investments such as structured note, such as debt products, we have stuck with the exact same risk categories for that to represent what risks is linked to that asset. So it might be a new structured note that we've launched that is a core plus. So thinking about what risks there are in terms of the real estate is exactly the same relevant to that, to whatever product we have listed. We've decided to stick to this because this is actually industry standard. But yeah, if we can go on to the next slide, this is always where everyone gets very bored, is compliance and risk management. But to keep it very simple, we as a marketplace is very passionate about making sure that from our investors that is listed on our platform to the actual deals that we list, we look at every single aspect of it. As you can see, there's a few lines there. But to just summarize, what we do is we go through a KYC KYC process where Siska and Ruth actually goes through your verification. So it's a FICA for South Africans. They will know that, the FICA process. So submitting documentation and verifying who you are on the platform. Anti-money laundering, and we use, as we alluded to earlier, Lemonway. They are our digital wallet provider. So they handle all of the money movement. So what we do is we send all these documentations to Lemonway, and Lemonway is based out of the EU and France. So they have European regulation that basically makes them very, very detailed. I'm not sure if you guys have ever dealt with the Europeans, but they are exceptionally detailed. They're the engineers of the clients. I've personally got a few of them, so I have first-hand experience with them. So that's looking at what kind of due diligence we do in terms of the investor. From that aspect, we go to the sponsor. Now, not to spend too much time on this, but basically what we do is the operator, so the operator / sponsor, internal lingo for the operator. What we do is we look at their financials, we look at their track record, we look at past deals that they've actually come to maturity. So versus how much they said they were going to do versus how much they actually paid out. We do research regarding themselves, the directors in that sponsor. So we basically make sure that we open the bonnet and we look into that company to make sure we know who we're doing business with. And that is that is the key of our business here, is to make sure that we have the right partners listing products on our platform. The second level of due diligence that we do is effectively the deal level, how the deal level gets to. So what that basically means is we make sure that if we are saying that the property that we're listing is a value add, what does it mean? Why are they saying it's a value add? And as long as we are happy and our investment committee is happy by that statement, then we'll list it. Obviously, there's quite a lot of criteria that our analysts goes through on top of that, but that's the gist of it, if I can put it that way. We also, as I mentioned to you earlier, is Lemonway. They are our wallet provider. So it's very important to note here that Wealth Migrate does not touch your money. You basically you will fund your wallet through our platform, or actually get the information to fund your wallet through our platform, but we never touch it. That's where Lemonway gets involved. We will transfer you, the investor, will transfer the funds into Lemonway, and then that will your wallet or your account will be listed on our platform, and then you just basically transact within our ecosystem. Setting up structures, compliance, and reporting. So to keep it simple, what we do is we aggregate investors into one SPV. So it's a special purpose vehicle. So it's like a company. So if everyone on this call had to buy a building together, we would have to own one company, then the company would own 100% of that asset below that. So together we will own the company that owns 100% of the asset, and that's basically what we do. So from LLPs in the UK through to LLCs in America, that's how we structure it, and we make sure that it's very tax and compliance. It's very tax efficient, and we make sure that our compliance is 100% from that regard. The last thing is we make sure that we adhere to different regimes and different jurisdictions through our licensing that we have here in South Africa, as well as offshore structures. So we take care of all the nitty-gritty, setting up the structures and making sure the money movement is all compliant in that regard. The last is acquiring new clients. We have a Cat 1 license. I'm actually very proud to say this, that we are the very first ever company to have a Cat 1 license here in South Africa. And basically what that means is that we're allowed to go out to investors here in South Africa and actually show them and be proud of our products. And through that Cat 1 license, we then basically go out to the world. And then the last is everything within our ecosystem, within our platform is completely protected. Our servers from our tech is all based out of the highest regulated country, out of Frankfurt in Germany. So it's all very protected in that regard. And yeah, sorry, Gabby, I know that I can keep on talking here, but I guess this is getting a little bit boring. I'll hand over now to my colleague Fritz. He's going to take us through what products we actually have on the platform and how easy it is to get involved. Over to you, Fritz.
Yes, thank you for that, Alex. Basically, everything that you just said brings us to what we're all here for in the first place, and that is the actual opportunities that you are then able to access. And the two deals that we have available at the moment is a perfect example of where we are as a business and an industry, and the caliber of the sponsors that we are partnering with. So when I talk with my clients all the time, basically, if you don't know this, we're the wealth consultants, we are account managers. We don't advise, but you can consult with us, and we act on the principle of marketplace. So we are there to consult with. We point out in terms of, or we facilitate the transparency as aforementioned, and the first thing that I always discuss with my clients is the sponsor themselves, because that's who you're actually investing, alongside. Those are the people who actually implement the strategy that you're buying into. So as for Marvila 2, our first Portuguese offering, basically it's a residential development, commercial, but residential in Lisbon, in Portugal, in a very upcoming area, and basically the sponsor is a joint venture, a very young joint venture between two, major players in the development space internationally, one of which is RE Capital, or formerly known as GMG, or the Geneva Management Group, led by Newman Leach. And basically, they are responsible for the HQ or headquarters of Barclays Bank in Geneva in Switzerland. Just as one example, that is the type of project that they implement and develop. And basically, RE Capital, represented by GMG, and John Raby, for those of you here tonight who might or to who that name might ring a bell. He's a well-known developer out of South Africa, Signatura Developments. They sort of you know, are part of the revitalization that's going on in Woodstock. You know, in the Woodstock area, they've deployed more than 4 billion rand in recent years in the sort of Cape Town City Bowl area. They're major players. They also own the you know, Century City in Cape Town, very focused around there. But they have expanded operations offshore for a number of years now in the form of New World, a company that John Raby and well, they basically split off internationally. And so that's sort of the caliber of sponsor that you're looking at here. The returns, as you can see, are roughly around 10% in terms of IRR. And you do have that passive income component as well, which is great. 4.8% per year of that total 10.1% is paid out into the wallet on a quarterly basis in the form of distributions. What is quite nice about where we are getting now is in terms of transparency as well, where the SPVs are located when you engage in a deal, so that you can also understand what the tax effect would be, you know, in terms of exposure for your entire portfolio. Now, so that's Marvila. It's our first offering with Reward Properties, and we are very excited about actually having it online. So I would advise anyone to go onto the platform and look into that. And then this note, unfortunately, no one can well, unless you fund your wallet immediately, you won't be able to engage in this particular note. We're closing it by you know, basically by tomorrow afternoon. But basically, this is a good example of a structured note that gives you a passive income that is very heavily protected. It's basically a new type of investment for a lot of us out there. I know for myself, I studied investment management at Tux, but this product I've never been exposed to until, you know, we started partnering with Cashbox Global on this. So it's a very interesting instrument. I won't go into the details of this. We do have resources that you can get from us on the actual workings of the instrument itself. But the returns are there. The underlying stocks for this is basically GM, Volkswagen, and Tesla. Also very excited, you know, very excited about that kind of offering. Cars. Thanks, Gabby.
Yeah, thank you, Fritz. And that really just brings us closer to the end of this evening's webinar. Something to highlight here are the most recent sponsors that we have had on our marketplace. As Fritz mentioned, Reward Properties, an exciting new partner for us, currently offering our Marvila 2 Portuguese multifamily residential development opportunity, and Cashbox Global currently offering our structured note, the BBVA car manufacturer structured note. In recent history, we've also had opportunities on the marketplace with Feldman Equities, located in the United States, and the McFarlane Group, also located in the United States. Feldman Equities is over 3 decades old and specializes in the office asset sector. McFarlane is over 2 decades old and specializes in the senior living industry and senior living assets. based in Dallas, Texas. We had 2 successful raises with both of these sponsors that recently closed, but look forward to future opportunities with them as well. And with that, thank you so much for your time this evening. It was a wonderful opportunity to see those engaged and joining us. We'll leave the deck open for probably another minute or so. If there are any questions, please feel free to type those in the chat box or in the Q&A box for us to answer now, or reach out to Fritz or Alex or anyone on our team with any of your follow-up questions that you might have. We are here for you. But thank you so much, and enjoy your evening.